Before joining Demon Hunter, Yogi Watts was an original drummer for The Lonely Hearts, originally called Holland, performing on their album Photographs and Tidal Waves and Paper Tapes. Joining Demon Hunter in 2004, he has been a mainstay with the band for 16 years and has made 8 albums with the band, starting with The Triptych to their most recent album, Peace, which was released in 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Yogi Watts. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Pretty good, pretty good. First question I want...
Wonderful, man. Enjoying this beautiful
day, huh?
Enjoying this beautiful Sunday morning.
Yeah, man, it's been raining out here. I don't know. I'm in South Carolina, and you're in where, California?
I'm in Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, okay. So yeah, so I guess so I guess it really doesn't rain over there very often.
Man, I've been here for about a year, and it's rained 3 times.
Really? Wow.
3 times in a year, yeah, since I've been here, yeah. And it's and that's, you know, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but when I moved out here, one of the reasons I did, I was just tired of rain. It rains in Nashville all the time.
Really?
So, like, I feel like it rains in Nashville at least a couple times a week. I'm not even joking.
Wow.
And, yeah, I moved out here thinking, oh, this will be great. No rain, the sunshine every day. And it is to an extent, but I can't believe I'm saying that I actually kind of miss those rainy days occasionally.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how has this whole pandemic been for you? Because I know it's taking a toll on some people, but you know it's not like that for everybody.
Well, lucky for Demon Hunter, the guys in Demon Hunter, we've never been a band that just relied solely on the band, like that's toured full time and done that. So for us, like, the pandemic has kind of made every other band function like Demon Hunter functions, if that makes any sense. Like, we were, unknowingly to us, we were prepared for this time, really.
Right.
We did have some touring scheduled for this summer. We were scheduled for a few festivals, and we had a couple runs that we were going to do on the East Coast and then one in the Midwest. But so that stuff got canceled.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. We had a lot of fun going out last year doing the tour we did was called An Evening with Demon Hunter. So it was just us.
Right.
No opening bands, no nothing, just us.
Oh, that's nice.
Which was really, it was awesome. I mean, you know, you do miss the camaraderie of having other younger bands on tour with you. I've always enjoyed that. I'm one of the guys in the band that's always, I think everybody does, but I specifically really, really enjoy touring with younger bands just because I enjoy, like, talking to them and kind of letting them know a little bit of what's to come. You know what I mean?
Right.
I've been doing this since I was 18. I started touring at 18. I'm 43, so like this is all I've ever done. You're 25 years.
Hey man, you're 3 years younger than me, so that's awesome. Yeah.
Hey,
4 years old. Yeah.
I'm the old man in the meeting.
There you go. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm the old man. Here's what's funny. What's funny for me, I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was talking to my wife about it, but what's really interesting to me is when I started touring, I joined a band in Atlanta, Georgia called Rocket Boy. We were on REX Records with Living Sacrifice, White Cross, Sixpence None the Richer. I got a random friend of a friend tryout with them, drove down on my spring break my freshman year of college, got the gig, dropped out of college, and started touring immediately. And I was by far the youngest.
Hang on, I think you cut off. I can't hear you. Yeah. Hang on.
Bands and the age of people in bands has changed dramatically over the years. And so when I first started touring, I was the baby on the block, no matter where we did. Like, no matter what tour we were on, what festival we were playing, I was always like the baby. Like, oh man, your drummer's only 18. Yeah. And now, all these years later, I'm the old man because I'm the oldest member of Demon Hunter. I'm typically the oldest guy on a tour, unless we go out with like Living Sacrifice, like Bruce is older than me, not much, but he's older than me.
Right.
So yeah, it's just changed a lot, man. And I think like your original question with the pandemic. So for Demon Hunter, as far as professionally, it hasn't really changed things that much for us. We've just been working on some things that people will find out about over the next 6 weeks or so, while we've been working on during this time. I think it'll be an exciting thing for people. We definitely got some things planned and have done some things during the pandemic for people, for our fans, that we'll be talking about in the next few weeks.
Right.
So there's some talks of some other things happening. So yeah, man, I mean, personally, it was challenging for a bit with my daughter being out of school, but luckily she goes to a private school, a Montessori school. And so, they were able to kind of circumvent the rules out here in Arizona, I guess you could say. And, so she only missed like about a month of school.
Oh, that isn't bad.
And then she was back in school. Yeah. So my wife's a hairstylist, and Arizona did a really good job of like, they were one of the first states to allow hairstylists to come back to work. They actually considered it an essential job here. So all things considered, like, other than just the normal anxieties that I think everybody had with this whole thing, I feel like that as a family and then as a band, Demon Hunter, like I think we navigated this thing pretty well so far.
Nice. And that's always a good thing to prepare. Now, y'all said unknowingly y'all have prepared for this. Can you go into how did you prepare for this pandemic? Because I don't think anybody saw this coming. So.
No. I think the band, as far as the band goes, like, I think we were prepared for it. We didn't even know it. Like I told you, like, being a band that has never relied solely on the band, and all of us have outside careers. So, like, a lot of bands are struggling right now, man. They're struggling to stay afloat. They have, a lot of bands, when you reach a certain level, you have more than just yourself to worry about. You have more than just like the 4 or 5 guys in the band to worry about. You got managers, you got crew, you've got all these people to worry about. And luckily for us, we've always had, like, our manager's a full-time manager, but he also does other things. He also has other bands. He manages producers. He is an editor for AP Magazine. He has several podcasts. So, I think that's what I meant by us being prepared for it unknowingly.
Right.
We just, as a band, we've always functioned part-time. So kind of having to scale down to part-time wasn't a thing for us, because that's what we've always kind of done. So,
right.
I guess that's what I meant as far as us being prepared for it. None of us were prepared.
Right. Yeah.
For the pandemic,
right.
Yeah,
but
we don't have any inside scoops or anything.
Right. But you all are prepared because you all had other jobs to fall back on. That's what you really mean. Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not going to ask you if you remember me, because I know you don't remember me. But we met as I was talking to you on Instagram. We met back in 2015 at the House of Blues, Myrtle Beach, and I had a walker. And I had a walker and everything. And you were great to me, because you really took time to talk to me and everything. And it's funny to think, because when I met you, all of the other Demon Hunter guys had tattoos all over their bodies, right? And you didn't. And I asked you,
I didn't.
I asked you, all these guys have tattoos in the band, and you didn't. Why is that? And you said, but I do. And then you said, I have the only Demon Hunter tattoo right here that the other guys did not have, and I thought that was great.
Yeah. I kind of came along slower with the tattoo thing. I think mainly just because I had that attitude about, I love tattoos. I got my first one when I was 21. So I've had tattoos for a while, but I always kind of kept the visible tattoos. Like, I was waiting. this may sound silly, but I was kind of waiting until I was comfortable enough to know that like I wasn't going to need to put on a button-up shirt and go get some kind of corporate job somewhere.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And once I kind of figured out that like that, you know, the Lord had definitely called me to do this for a living,
Yeah.
and that this was what I was going to do, then it was just, I mean,
On,
as you can see
yeah,
now,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So how many tattoos you got right now?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's a lot.
There's probably 40 different ones, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe 30 to 40 different ones. But like how many tattoos is always a tricky question for me because like my whole left arm is
running together. Yeah.
Yeah, it all runs. It's all the same piece.
Right.
So, I think more than anything, it's like how much room do I have?
Yeah.
And it's like,
hey man, yeah.
I'm running out of room. Yeah, I got both my shins done now, both my calves done, my back's done.
Oh, nice.
So I mean, I've got quite a few.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to get
This is my favorite though.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Is that Jesus?
It sure is.
Nice.
Absolutely 100%.
Nice, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. About how long did that one take? Because that's a big piece.
This one was about 12 hours.
Wow, dude. Okay. Yeah. I guess I had to go back and, yeah.
14, yeah.
Did you last the whole 14 hours or did you come back?
No.
Because I'm like, I can't.
It was actually, it was actually three different settings. So the first one was, the guy who did it is a phenomenal tattoo artist named Damon Conklin out of Super Genius Tattoo in Seattle, Washington.
Nice.
Really, really good friend of mine. A believer, super awesome guy. I actually, when I moved to Seattle back in 2007, I met him and he actually knew that I was moving to town. And I told him, he's like, what are you going to do for work besides the band? And I was like, man, I don't really know. God, probably work at a coffee shop or something. And he was like, you want to come work for me?
Yeah.
I was like, what do you want me to do? He was like, dude, just like basically be my personal assistant. Like, book my travel. He travels all over the world and stuff. He's like, just book my travel and me and you'll hang out. We'll listen to metal and we'll just have a good time. We'll talk about Jesus. And
there we go.
That was it. And honestly, that's how, I mean, I met my best friend there, one of my best friends there. I met my wife there. So, I mean, it worked out. It was obviously in the Lord's plan. You know what I mean?
Right. So in 2005, you made your first Demon Hunter appearance with the album The Triptych. Demon Hunter's third album. How was recording the album, and did the other members take to you like right on that? Did they welcome you in, or were you just? I mean,
so I don't know. I don't know how much we've actually talked about how I came to be in the band. But we actually, so when I was in the band, when you introduced me, you talked about the band Holland / The Lonely Hearts.
You're right.
So the first Holland record we recorded in Seattle, Washington with Aaron Sprinkle in 2001. And I met, at the time, the Tooth and Nail had a studio in the basement of their offices. And that's where Aaron would do the records out of. He did ours there. He did Anne Boleyn's first record there, several records there. And so at the time, Don Clark and Ryan Clark, obviously the singer of Demon Hunter now, and his brother, they quasi worked for Tooth and Nail. They had their own design firm, but then they also worked and did all the Tooth and Nail stuff. So they actually worked out of the office. And so I met those guys in 2001 and we instantly hit it off, man. Like, they're just really great dudes. We enjoy a lot of the same things. We all like to laugh a lot. I'm a total jokester constantly. They thought that was hilarious. They enjoyed my Southern charm, as they'll tell you. So I met them then, and then oddly enough, I really don't know if we've told this story publicly before. We probably have at some point, but so they did that first album, which I was fortunate enough to get early from John Dunn, the bass player.
Right.
We had become friends. I met John there. He was working in the mailroom at Tooth and Nail when we were doing that record there. So I literally met everybody in the band during that time, and we had cookouts in the afternoons, and we go to the record store with each other every Tuesday and just became friends.
Yeah.
We stayed in contact. And so when they put out that record and did that first tour, the year they made their like debut performance at Cornerstone. It was the last show of their tour. And so backstage that night, like they wouldn't let anybody backstage because the whole Demon Hunter thing is like super secretive. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was at the beginning. So I luckily had made really good friends with those guys. And then I also had made really good friends with the guy who ran that stage at Cornerstone. His name is Brian Gray. He was in a band called The Blamed, killer Christian, like hardcore punk band from Chicago, part of the Jesus People movement. So I had met him earlier in the week and we hit it off real good. And so I went to the back and was like, hey, can you ask Don and Ryan and them if like I can come back? And actually Don saw me and was like, yeah, let Yogi back here. He's awesome.
Yeah.
So I went back. I was like back there pretty much by myself with just the Demon Hunter guys, me and our a couple of the guys in Holland, the two brothers. We all three went back. And so they're getting ready to go on stage and they can't find Jesse, the drummer at the time.
Oh no.
They don't know where he's at.
Yeah.
Nobody had seen him since sound check. They were literally getting ready to fire the vamp. The lights were down. Like it was go time and they couldn't find him anywhere. And so I jokingly, but let's say half-heartedly said, hey, if you can't find Jesse, I know the songs. I'll get up there.
Give you the man, yeah.
Yeah, dude. Give me the drumsticks, bro. I'll do it.
Yeah.
And it was true. I loved that record. I had always been a heavy music fan. I had never really played I'd never played in a metal band. I had never really played even in like a hard rock band. I'd always been in more like pop bands. Like that Rocket Boy, the first band I was in was more like a 90s alternative band, kind of Bush, Smashing Pumpkins, like that thing.
Great
and
music,
so,
though.
Yeah, wonderful. And, and I love the band, but I had never really played metal, but I loved it. Like ever since I was a kid, I loved hair metal. Stryper's been my favorite band my whole life.
Yeah.
Pantera. When I found Pantera in high school, it was like my whole life changed.
Right.
I didn't.
Everybody's life changed.
My mind was just blown. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I meant it. Hey, I've always been confident enough in myself as a musician to like. I've played in so many different things. I grew up playing Southern gospel. I played in a black choir when I was 16. Most of the time, I'd be the only white guy in the entire building.
Yeah.
And then I played alternative rock. I played country. So I've always been confident of my skills and being able to adapt to whatever, genre of music that, I would get the opportunity to play. But so I made that joke. Jesse walked in almost immediately right after I made that joke. Yeah, so he played. They played the show. I was blown away by how great they were.
Yeah.
So fast forward until, I guess it was 2004. They had just released Summer of Darkness, and they were getting ready to tour that summer. And Jesse decided to move from Seattle to New York with his whole family. He had like several kids, and decided that he wasn't going to tour. And this was like a month before they were supposed to leave for tour.
Yeah.
So they kind of like spitballed a list of guys that they thought could either do the job really well, which was like, they had, I think Jesse Smith from Zayo was on the list. Rocky Gray, who actually played guitar in Living Sacrifice, but as anybody that knows anything about him, he's a smoking good drummer. He played drums. He was the original drummer in Evanescence, played in Evanescence for years. He was on the list, and somehow I got put on the list. And we joke around about the fact that they were hesitant about like if I would or could play metal,
right?
But they enjoyed hanging around with me so much, and touring for them at the time was just like 1 month out of the year, so they didn't really. They wanted to perform well, but for them, especially the brothers, it was more about having a really great time. Going out and playing these songs, but having a good time in the van with each other, on the road with each other, in the green rooms with each other, at the hotel with each other.
Yeah.
And they basically were like, okay, like if we're gonna take somebody just for their personality, and we have confidence that they can do the job, but if we're picking personalities here, who would we most like to spend that time with? And so somehow I got the first phone call.
Nice.
And I remember what's odd is I was at a cookout with the Hollow Boys, and we were in Nashville, We were getting ready to have a cookout with a bunch of our friends. The Emberlin guys were going to be there. They were in town. And I get a phone call, and I look down, and it says Don Clark. And I'm like,
what?
what? This is interesting.
Why is he calling me?
So I tell my best friend in the band was the bass player, Josiah Holland, who is a phenomenal human being. If he ever sees this, I love you. You're the best, one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life. He was standing there, and he was like, dude, answer it. And so I answered it, and we started talking for a minute, and Don was like, hey, man, he asked all the normal, hey, what's up, dude? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then he kind of was like, well, man, I don't want to beat around the bush too much. So Jesse's not going to do this tour. We're supposed to leave in like a month. I know you probably have gigs with Holland and some touring this summer. So I don't want to make anything weird there for you. But if there's any way that you could or would want to do this tour with us, like, we would love to have you.
Yeah.
And my mouth like dropped to the floor.
Right.
And I literally looked at Josiah, and he goes, they want you to be in Demon Hunter, don't they? He just had a feeling,
he knew. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, well, they want me to do this tour. I was like, but I don't want to leave. Like, you guys are my best friends. Like, we've been in this band together since day one. Like, I wouldn't want to do that to you guys. And he just looked at me, and he was like, dude, you have to do this.
Yeah.
Like, you have to go do that. Like, this is you. This is you more than we are you. Yeah. More than our music is you. This is you. You need to go do it. Which, man, I don't know a lot of people in bands. A new band that had just put out their first record, had festivals booked for summer. I don't know how many people in those kind of bands would have told their drummer to go do something else.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, that's a great friend, because I think he knew if you did not do this, then you would be regretting it for the rest of your life. And I think he did. And I think that he knew. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because of that, yeah.
And he's so wise, man. He's such a wise young man beyond his years. Like, I think he also knew, like, this was my path.
Right.
Like, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So
right.
I went up 2 weeks later. I had never played a double kick before. I borrowed one from my buddy in Nashville, my buddy Robbie T. I borrowed one from him, went to my practice space, worked on it for like a week and a half, just learning the ins and outs of double kick as much as I could,
Right.
Flew to Seattle, rehearsed for like 4 days, hopped in a van and went on that first tour. And, the idea was I was going to do that tour. Mm-hmm. And then they were going to figure out after the tour, like a replacement for Jesse. Like, we'll figure it out. We'll get somebody. We'll find a person to be in the band. And so that was kind of the agreement from the get-go. It's like I was a hired gun to do the tour. Yeah. And then after the tour, we would talk about, like, if there was a future or not or whatever.
Yeah.
And there's never been a discussion about it since.
Oh, wow. So I guess you just fell in the van.
Tour was over.
Let's go.
Went home from tour, man. Yeah, like I went home from that tour, had a wonderful time. We had an amazing time. It was like that first tour I ever did was Demon Hunter, Zayo, Dead Poetic, Haste the Day. So it was
great
super
lineup.
awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, like such a great lineup, man. Great tour. And, yeah, dude, so I got home, kept touring with Holland. And then a few months later, and I kept in contact with the DH dudes, but I wasn't like in the band, so I wasn't privy to like the plans for like when we're going to, all the stuff you plan for when you're getting ready for a new record. But then I just remember like Ryan called me and was like, hey man, so, and it wasn't even like, do you want to do this? It was literally like, okay man, so hey, we're going to do the new record and, hi, baby. Daddy's doing an interview. Say hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, this is Odessa.
Hey, Odessa.
This is my daughter, Odessa. Hi. Okay, baby. Let Daddy finish, okay? Love you. So he called and he was like, hey, man, so we're recording the record in, I can't remember exactly what month it was, but let's say we're recording the record in October. I want you to come up a couple weeks before we start recording so we can like flush these songs out and get your parts down. When do you want to fly up? I mean, it was not even like a, do you want to do it? Or, hey, this was just a.
They're like, you doing this for us? Come on, kind of deal.
Yeah, like you are a part of us.
Right, you are Demon Hunter now.
And like I said, there's literally never been another discussions like since that first tour about whether I was going to be in the band or not.
Yeah.
And here we are, 16 years
16
later.
plus years, yeah.
Yeah, man. And now, there's Ryan still there and John's still there, but now it's me and then Patrick and Jeremiah, our two guitar players, were I won't say that I'm responsible for them being in the band, but
you kind of are.
I'm kind of responsible for them being in the band. Like, Patrick was my best friend. He moved to Seattle with me before he was in Demon Hunter. When I decided to move and be a part of not just the band, but a part of the friendships and the bonds that were forming there in Seattle, I just wanted to be close to the guys for more than just 2 months on tour or a month recording a record. I wanted to be there for a while. So he was like, hey, dude, if you're moving, I'm not. I'm going with you, bro.
Right.
So he came with me, and, Ryan and those guys fell in love with him the way I did, like as a friend and as just a human being and a kid and a guitar player.
Right.
And so that, he started just showing up at everything with me, all of the things we were doing for Demon Hunter, photo shoots, video shoots, rehearsal. He would just sit and hang out. And when Ethan, who was our guitar player for a couple years there.
Ethan Luck, yeah.
Ethan Luck, the Triptych and Storm the Gates. When Ethan decided to leave the band, it was just, okay, well, we have this super cool looking, young, good looking, smoking guitar player that's our best friend here. So he literally, the tour, Ethan left in the middle of the Summer Darkness tour because he accepted a drumming position in Reliant K.
Another great band,
he needed to leave in the middle of our tour. And so literally Patrick guitar tech for the first half of the tour and then went from guitar tech to guitar player.
Yeah.
And kind of the same way it happened for me, it happened for Patrick. Like there was never a discussion about, is Patrick our guitar player? Patrick was just our guitar player.
Right.
And now he writes, these last two records, War and Peace, I'd say out of the 25 songs we recorded for those two records, 26 songs, whatever, Patrick was responsible for like 16 of them.
Man.
You know what I mean?
And I will tell you something, man. Patrick is a monster on the guitar. Just an absolute beast on the guitar.
He's a monster. And he's the most prolific riff writer, songwriter that I've ever been in a band with or played with.
Right.
Like that kid will finish. I mean, dude, as soon as we got done with War and Peace, I'm not lying to you. Less than 3 months after those records were finished and recorded, he already had like 25 songs written for this next record that we're going to do.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, like that kid doesn't mess around, bro.
No.
It's like,
anything
he does. That's the thing about him. It's not just guitar. It's not just songwriting. Anything he does, he's one of those guys that like, he's going to do it full max.
Right.
Like, he's going to sink himself into it. He's going to learn everything about it. He's going to try to make it perfect or as close to perfect as he can. He's going to obsess over it. Yeah. That's just him, man.
Right.
That's just him.
Right.
Yeah. And then Jeremiah, I mean.
Yeah. Jeremiah, another beast on a guitar too, so it's like,
Yeah, and not just that, but with Jeremiah, it's like, I mean, I think most people know by now, he's produced our last 5 records. Like,
unbelievable. Yeah.
The dudes, I mean, and so now it's literally like the thing I love about our band, outside of the fact that I'm actually a fan of our music, I'm not just in the band, but I genuinely, Demon Hunter is my favorite heavy metal band.
Yes.
Only maybe, like, the thing is, not even second to Pantera. I can honestly say, like, Demon Hunter is my favorite metal band. That may sound pretentious to some people, but
you see the shirt. Come on now. I mean, I'm right there with you. Come on now.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. So, but outside of that, like, man, like, we are all inclusive. Like, we literally don't depend or outsource for anything anymore. Like,
okay, good.
Ryan does all of our design work. Always has.
Yeah.
From merch to album covers to everything.
Yeah, he knocked that out of the park when he created your Demon Hunter logo. Man, this is it. This is it.
It's it, man. Yeah. I mean, it's that logo is responsible for
so many stuff.
In the first place.
Right. Yeah.
If that branding doesn't happen and that branding doesn't get people excited about what is coming.
But then then I don't know what it is.
They probably
like,
put out one record and it goes away.
Right, exactly,
Honestly.
exactly.
The music had to back it up, but the music did back it up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, man. So, like, Jeremiah's producing all of our records. We write all of our own stuff. Down to, like, we write all of our own video treatments.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have the guy that's done our last several videos is our friend named Andy Mayer, who is in a killer band called Opponent as well. Look them up on Instagram.
Yeah.
Killer. Opponent is the name of the band. Killer metal band. But Andy's done all of our videos. I would say that Ryan Downey, our manager, and Andy, our videographer, are the 6th and 7th members of Demon Hunter.
Okay, yeah. Right.
They just are. You know what I mean? They work as hard as we do. Probably harder, honestly, than we do.
Right.
And they're very, very vital to everything about the band, the aesthetics of the band. I think our videos are better than ever. So honestly, dude, 19 years into this Demon Hunter journey, 16 years for me, I genuinely feel like that we are still
going up,
climbing towards our peak. Like we're just now hitting our like stride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is
you know exactly what to do now. It's like second nature for y'all, which is great. Because so many bands don't know exactly what to do from album to album.
Yeah. You never know what's coming, and it's great because like Ryan is so meticulous in having everything planned out way ahead of time.
Yeah.
So like we haven't recorded our next album yet, but we already have probably 30 songs written to choose from. We've already got the name of the record. We've already got the artwork idea.
Nice.
Like everything. And we haven't even tracked it yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's a pretty cool thing to be a part of.
Cool.
I feel real lucky. Super lucky. Yeah.
So Demon Hunter has been widely known as a Christian heavy metal band. How has the band been treated as far as knowing that the band is Christian metal in a world that is totally not acceptable of Christian metal music? So how have y'all been treated much better now, or has it always been equal?
Man, I would almost say that we've been treated more awkwardly by the Christian
really
side of things than the secular.
Yeah.
I hate to use that word, but that's what it. That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah, man. Like we've been treated so well by our secular peers and counterparts. Nobody gets treated well by the media. That's like when it comes to like the website Metal Sucks, and there's always those kind of things where they're going to talk junk about it. But funny enough, even they had to, like, this last record, the War and Peace records, even they had to admit, like, they actually ran an article when we put out I think it was the On Your Side, when we released that single. They On My Side, sorry. They put out an article that day because we ended up releasing a single the same day as like Soilwork and In Flames, who are two of our biggest influences and two of our favorite metal bands. And a couple other metal bands released singles that day too. And they literally just, their way of complimenting us was to say that we had released the least sucky song of the day. Which is, that is a compliment from them.
Yeah, but that's not least sucky is like, that's not really. Yeah. So I never go by that website anyway,
Yeah, I don't either, dude. Honestly, like I don't. But like we've been treated really well. Like Loudwire is another.
Loudwire is great.
Well. They always cover our stuff. They asked us to be a part of the award show a couple years ago. We got to present Best New Band to Power Trip, which is now looking back on it with Riley's passing is pretty awesome to have been a part of his journey. You know what I mean? Even if it was just a little way, we got to be a part of it, which was awesome.
Right.
So yeah, man, that first Demon Hunter record, like when they put it out in stores, they made all this like what is the big Baptist bookstore, Family Christian Stores, I think is what it's called. they sent them back and made Tooth and Nail put a sticker over the cover because they didn't like that logo on your chest. They thought it was too evil.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So it had that first record ended up having to have a big old sticker over the cover just to be able to be sold in Christian bookstores. So, and then like festivals, we always get treated well, but I do remember probably the funniest thing ever was we went and played up the first year we've been back here since, but Life Fest is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Great festival, great people, but the first time we showed up there, we pulled up the bus, we parked, and we all just had on I had on a Pantera shirt.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about it wasn't anything vulgar. It was literally a shirt with the guys in the band on the shirt.
That's the
Cowboys from Hell logo or anything.
Yeah.
And we were standing there, and I heard we were standing there talking to one of the security guards, and then over his radio we hear, "Hey, so the guys from Demon Hunter just showed up, and one of them is wearing a Pantera shirt. And I don't really know why you would want to wear a Pantera shirt to a Christian festival unless you were trying to cause trouble. So let's keep our eye on those guys."
Wow,
they literally the festival hired like 100 extra. This is not a joke. Almost 100 extra plainclothes police officers as security guards for just our set that night.
What?
Because they had never had a band like us there before, so they had no clue what was going to happen. They didn't know if we were going to try to incite some kind of crazy riot or something. Now, the funny thing about all of that is by the time we left that night, every person at that festival had gained a new favorite band, because I remember that is the longest signing line after a show I have ever seen or ever been a part of. We signed autographs for 3 hours after our set.
Right.
The festival's over. There's no more bands playing. It's like 1 a.m, and we're still sitting there at the merch table signing autographs for people and talking to people and taking pictures with people.
Yeah.
And so, like, when we left, they literally said to us, like, "Hey, like, we don't really know why we had some weird preconceived notions, but you blew them out of the water, and we want you guys to come back next year." So,
right on.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've navigated the same thing any other band like us has navigated. You know what I mean? Like, you're always going to get some pushback from Christian people who think we're too heavy. You're always going to get pushback from secular folks or other people that think that Christians don't have a place in heavy music, which is silly.
Right.
Tell that to August Burns Red.
Right.
Tell that to Under Oath. Tell that to Demon Hunter. All 3 of our bands have carved massive holes into heavy music.
Oh, yeah, totally.
You can't at this point, man, that I'll always say the best thing to do, or the best way to prove doubters wrong, is to go out and do your thing.
Right.
And 20 years later, 9, 10 albums, 10. Good gosh.
I know, right?
11 if you count the live record. 11 albums later, 20 years later, we're still here. Kicking, baby.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we ain't going nowhere.
No.
And you can't discredit that.
No.
You can't. You can't discredit that. Like, you can't do that. And, we've met bands over the last few years. We toured with In Flames, who was probably one of our biggest influences. They took us out as direct support for them. They treated us amazing. Those guys are big fans of the band. We played several festivals the last few years, like mainstream festivals, and we've ran into bands like the band Hell Yeah, Denny Paul. I got to play. My drum kit was set up right in front of his. We played right before them, and those guys, their guitar player, came up to us and was like, "Hey, dudes, I'm a huge fan of the band. I make all the dudes in the band listen to Demon Hunter.
Yes,
you guys are phenomenal. Like, I just wanted to let you know."
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you hear things like that from those dudes. And we've heard that from several bands that are like that. The guys in Breaking Benjamin the guitar player for Breaking Benjamin is like a massive Demon Hunter fan. Like, we did a cruise with him a few years ago. Yeah. And I had a Demon Hunter hat on from the record Extremist, and he was like, "Oh my God, what? Like, where'd you get that hat?" And I was like, "Well, they sold them online for just a minute." He's like, "Oh, dude, you guys don't have them with you, do you?" And I was like, "No." And I was like, "Dude, just take mine." And he's like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, dude, this is actually like the first time I've worn it. Here, just take it." And he was like, he literally ate dinner with us every day.
Nice.
That whole
That's
cruise.
always, yeah.
So, I mean, you know, it's, we get respect, man. Now, you can't not respect it. Like, you can talk all the crap you want, but like when it comes down to it, like, we've been here longer than you and we'll be here after you're gone. So,
yeah, right. Yeah. It's true.
Say what you want to, brother, but I think it speaks for itself.
It does.
You know what I mean?
It really does. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. As you know, my co-host couldn't be here today, and I went to do him a total justice if I didn't tell you this. He discovered your Demon Hunter band, when his old youth pastor gave him a copy of Storm the Gates of Hell. And his pastor gave it to him. So I mean, he was the only metalhead in his youth group. Youth group. And his pastor just gave him like random metal, Christian metal bands, and yours was one of them. So he really thanks y'all for everything that you've done for him.
Dude, that's awesome. What's his name?
Blake.
Blake.
Yeah.
Hey, Blake, you're not here right now, but I'm going to tell you this, brother. Thank you for listening. Tell your youth pastor or pastor thank you for giving you our music, and stick with us, brother, because we got some cool stuff coming, man.
Yeah, Patrick does hook you up, so So then my next question is, do you all have a musical vision that you haven't been able to release for technical or financial reasons? Or an idea of what music itself could be beyond its current form?
Man, we're kind of doing.
You're doing it? Okay,
I think we're doing it. We're carving our own niche. Like, I genuinely don't think, there's a lot of bands that sound the same.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure when you put a Demon Hunter record on, it's Demon Hunter.
Absolutely.
Like, there's no mistaking that.
No.
So, man, honestly, like, for the sake of not sounding pretentious, like, I really feel like that
you're doing it right now.
Our own path, man.
Right.
We do our own thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Like we're one of. I mean, what other metal band puts out an entire record full of ballads and like radio rock songs? Who does that? And then also the same day puts out another record of straight metal bangers.
Right. Like hard-hitting classics,
Yeah, who does that? Like
nobody. I know.
And I'm not talking about Christian. I'm not talking about Christian metal. Regular. I'm talking about all of it.
Everything. Right.
Heavy music in general.
Right.
Who does it?
Right.
So, I mean, I really feel good about what we've done. I really feel proud. Like, I mean, I'm responsible for playing drums, man.
Oh, yeah.
I'm responsible for my jobs in Demon Hunter is to play drums and to try to make everybody laugh.
Right. That's it.
I try to do that as good as I can.
Man, that's probably one of the two best jobs you have,
Yeah, but those other guys they're doing the heavy lifting.
Right, yeah.
Like
yeah.
Jeremiah, Ryan, and Patrick, they're doing the heavy lifting. John's responsible for playing bass and also making us laugh because he's got a real dry humor about him that's pretty outstanding. John's also very hands-on when it comes to like the actual like physical labor of things too. Like that's the one thing about John. Like, he's going to do that, and he's good at returning. For a long time he was the main guy returning all of the like emails and stuff as well,
right?
And interacting with fans in that way. So, yeah, dude, I definitely have the easiest job in the band for sure.
Right? Yeah.
But I enjoy it, and I'm proud to do it.
Cool. That's a great answer. Do you believe that Demon Hunter pushes the boundaries in the music lyrically than other metal bands are afraid to explore?
Yeah.
Because a lot of, I feel like there's more Christian members out there in the world, but they're afraid to push the Christian side of it. Because who they are in the metal and the music that they played in the past.
Yep.
So I feel like they don't want to bring that out to the, you know.
I think a lot of people are just, they care too much about what somebody else is going to think.
Right. Yeah.
And they don't take into, and I also think they don't take into consideration that most people are going to admire honesty over everything.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you're a Christian or not, most people in this world, I say most because it's kind of getting nuts these days.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think that most human beings respect honesty as much as they respect anything. And
right.
I think that when you're honest with people and you are who you are and you don't make any apologies for it, you don't make any excuses for it, that's what people respect.
Yeah.
And I think that from the get-go, like if you ask Demon Hunter in an interview, you've never heard Demon Hunter say, I mean, we're not Christian. We're not a Christian band. We're just like Christians in a band. I've heard that from more than a handful of Christian bands.
Right.
And then, you know, a lot of bands get to a point to where they feel like they can't get over that success hump unless they back off on the Jesus thing a little bit.
Yeah.
There's been, I won't name any bands because I don't want to do that.
Right. No.
Some of the bigger bands that started in the Christian music kind of scene and then kind of blossomed into something more. Most of them have come to a point to where at least one or more members has renounced their faith, or as a band, they've said, hey, you know, yeah, we got a couple guys in our band that are Christian, but we're not a Christian band. Dude, the minute that happens, dude, you lose respect. All those non-Christian, those secular bands, they lose respect for you immediately.
Right.
The reason we've always kept that respect from all those bands, the reason that the guys in Five Finger Death Punch are really good friends of ours, and I don't even know if I'm letting the cat out of the bag here, but there was a time a few years ago when the singer Ivan was doing really bad and was in and out of rehab that, man, they freaking called Ryan Clark and asked him to be in the band. And Ryan's just like, hey, dudes, like, I love you guys and stuff, but that's
not me.
I can't. That's not me. That's not. We're here to support you as friends, but that's just not me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because essentially he was saying Demon Hunter's my home. You know, I can't leave. You know.
Also I think Ryan really understood that going and doing something like that and having to sing the lyrics to those songs every night would kind of be counterproductive to what Demon Hunter has worked so long to establish.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yes, sir, I do. Yeah.
You can't go around dropping F-bombs and saying things like that and then come back.
And then come back and, hey, man, I'm Chris. Yeah, you can't really do that.
You can't really do that.
That's
so
hypocrisy at its greatest, you know.
It is, man, and that's not, you know, that's not what we ever want to be.
No.
But we've always done things our own way, man. Like we just have. Like it's not. I mean, I've done things that I did something last summer that people thought I was crazy for doing, but I did it. I did a podcast, I did a podcast with a guy, comedian. I'm kind of a, what's the word I'm looking for? It could be controversial for sure in the whole Christian world.
Right.
I think it flew I think it flew over most people's heads.
Right.
But if you're a comedy fan,
then you would get it.
You would totally get it.
Yeah.
But I did it, man. And I even put out an Instagram post when I did it and was just like, you know, I thank God, man. I thank God that dude, anybody who's ever read the Bible knows that the people that God used to do the dirty work, so to speak, they weren't good people. They weren't perfect people.
Right.
Most of them were former criminals, terrible people that he saw something in and saw that, like, I can take this person who's experienced all of this negativity and all this bad stuff, and I can use that for my glory.
Right.
And so that's what he did.
Yeah.
And that's how we feel in our band is we're all rotten dudes. Like
we are. Yeah, that's true.
We are, man. We all are. You can sit here and pretend that you're some great person all you want to, but we're all rotten. We're all selfish. We all are self-fulfilling. We all are, I think every human being has to fight that nature all the time.
Yeah.
Just, because look at right now. Look what we're going through right now. Like, look at what we're going through right now. It's all because people are selfish. It's all because people, they want what they want. They want to be able to, you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
They're not thinking about somebody else.
No.
They're not thinking about other folks.
One of my best friends, John, he says that people show you what they want you to see, and then they turn around and, go ahead and talk behind your back or try to get you, canceled as this cancel culture is working. It's just crazy nowadays, So,
It is, because the same people that are screaming for somebody to be canceled got their own skeletons, man.
Well, yes, thank you for that. Yes.
That's the reason you'll never hear me say anything about anybody. I've got my own skeletons. Not even skeletons, but I've done things. I'm not perfect, man.
Right. No,
I'm not perfect at all. I was almost kicked out of Demon Hunter in 2008, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Over some garbage,
right?
Much like what we're dealing with today,
right?
Like a lot of this,
right?
But I wasn't, and all these years later, it's, here we are.
Yeah, that's true.
Still here.
That's true.
Still reaching folks. Still making music that means something to people.
Yeah,
that's my favorite thing, man. My favorite thing is not. I got a couple favorite things. I'd say my number one favorite thing is when somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, your music, Demon Hunter's music, is really responsible for helping me get through some really, really difficult times in my life."
Yeah.
That's my number one favorite thing. And then number two, something else I think is awesome, man, is when you're at a non-Christian festival or even at a Demon Hunter show. Because you go to a Demon Hunter show, I think most people would assume that most people in the crowd are like Christians, like we are, whatever. But that's not the case, man.
No.
One of my favorite things is after a show is for some dude to come up to me and be like, "Man, you guys kicked F and A, dude. Mother effers are so sick, dude.
Yeah.
Effing yeah."
Yes.
That's my favorite thing ever, dude.
Right.
Because that guy's going to continue to listen to our music. And that message is going to continue to seep into him.
Right.
And seep into him. And seep into him. And hopefully at some point it makes a difference.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if it doesn't,
that's okay, though.
Fine. It's fine just having people that just like your music because they like your music.
Right.
It doesn't have to be deeper than that, but it's awesome when it is. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Were there any albums that were super hard or super easy to record? Like, did you have any problems actually recording?
Peace was super easy.
Okay. Right, because it's peaceful.
Yeah. Not so much album songs. There's been songs that are really difficult.
Okay. Now
Jesus Wept.
Now were they just hard to play or like
hard to play?
Okay.
For me, being a big guy and being like
the drummer,
not necessarily. My brain doesn't work like it doesn't fire like a lot of metal drummers because that's not the way I grew up. That's not the way I was trying. It's just not. So, a lot of those really fast songs, Crucifix, Jesus Wept, a lot of those songs were pretty difficult. Yeah. But Jeremiah is really great at pulling something extra out of me.
Good. Yes. Yes. You always need that friend,
He just has he knows how to talk to me.
Right.
Like he knows how to challenge me without challenging he knows how to challenge me without insulting me. I think a lot of times people don't know how to challenge somebody without insulting them.
Right.
And Jeremiah's got a really good way of challenging me because he knows what buttons of mine to push.
And which buttons to say where from.
Yeah, and we've worked together. The first record I did with him was, he and I and Patrick, me and Jeremiah first, but then Patrick came along a few months later. But we all played in the band The Showdown together for a little bit.
Right.
And, that was like 2008 and 9, I think, 2008 to 2010. And the Showdown album, Blood in the Gears, was the first album I recorded with Jeremiah. And, man, it just worked.
Yeah.
our personalities work. I mean, that's why he's in our band. That's why we're, you know, our band is where it's at now. It's because all of our personalities work.
Right.
The five of us, it works. Dude, I'm telling you, man, it is like when we get together, man, it's like getting together with your best college buddies that you haven't seen in a while.
Yes.
Every single time.
Great. That's awesome. Yeah.
There are very few. Me and John went through a tough period for a little while. And I don't even mind talking about it. He probably doesn't enjoy talking about it as much as I do. It's not that I enjoy it. I just don't mind. But
right.
He and I went through a little tough period. But outside of that, man, and after that now, dude, I mean, there's never like any kind of static or anything like ever. Like
right.
they're just, and there never really has been, like I said, but definitely now, man, since this lineup came along, which is, I was just informed by our manager the other day that we're coming up on 10 years of this lineup.
Right.
Jeremiah, Patrick, me, John, Ryan. In that 10 years time, man, like there's been very little friction at all. And anytime there was friction, man, it never had to do with a band member and another band member. It was always some outside source that was causing one of the band members some stress or something that and everybody else could kind of just feel it. But it was never like, Patrick and Jeremiah having a problem with each other.
Yeah,
or
right.
Me and Ryan it's never been that. So, I mean, it's easy greasy, man. It just really is. Yeah.
Cool. If I came up to you, essentially you, because you're here. If I came up to you and said, I really wanted to listen to the band, which one song would you recommend for me to get fully into? Which song would that be? I can say my song, and then I'll give you time to think about it. My song would be "Collapsing." Because I think it shows the whole range of the Demon. You got the melodic parts, and then you got all the hardcore punching in your face.
Yeah.
And I just love that song.
I think that's probably the best one to get the full range of
right.
what
Yeah.
the Demon Hunter is. I think that question is a tricky one in this way. I'll answer. Okay, how about this? I'll give you two answers.
Okay. Perfect.
I'll give you the answer if I'm approached by somebody that I feel like maybe new to metal, and they want to know what Demon Hunter song is the best one to start with. I'm probably going to say "Last One Alive."
Okay.
I think it's probably the best, heavy but not too heavy. It still showcases everything. And then I think if I'm giving somebody like you or somebody that I know probably has an idea about metal and is, I'm probably going to say, I probably would have said "Collapsing."
Yeah.
Up until now. And I think right now, man, I would say "On My Side."
Okay. Yeah. Great.
I think that song is so good.
Right. Yeah.
If I'm talking to a parent, I'll give you a third answer.
Okay.
A parent or somebody that I know literally has never really listened to heavy music at all, I'm going to tell them to listen to More Than Bones.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think More Than Bones is a perfect radio-friendly rock song.
Right.
And I think it's perfect. And it actually surprised us on this last tour, man. All of our songs got really great receptions. But I'll tell you, man, I was kind of blown away at how well More Than Bones was received live and how loud the sing-alongs were.
Right, yes.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah, so I guess that's probably my answers right now.
Cool.
But if you ask me next month, it might change.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so these two next questions are coming in from fans of your band Demon Hunter. This comes from a fan and listener of the podcast, Marilyn. What got you interested in a music career and why metal?
So what got me interested in music career was I was born into a musical family.
Okay.
My parents and my sister, from the time I could remember, were a Southern gospel singing group. And my parents were music ministers at my church that I grew up in.
Yeah.
So my dad was a drummer. He did some light regional touring before I was born. And even after I was born, when I was a small kid, I still remember he went out a couple times, but he pretty much stopped. Once I started playing drums, my dad kind of stopped. As funny as that sounds, he kind of like, he'll play every once in a while, but he kind of saw something in me, and that was his kind of mission at that point, was to like mold me into, because my dad's the only teacher I've ever had.
Yeah,
like, I've never taken drum lessons. I've never done it. My dad is my influence.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I mean,
Great.
my dad is my,
Yeah.
and then why metal? I don't know. Why metal? Because Don and Ryan saw something in me as a human being 16 years ago, and they wanted to hang out with me and be my friend, and so they gave me an opportunity, and I ran with it. And cool. I'll say this: I have to give two people and two bands credit for, like, not that they're metal bands. Stryper's a metal band, but my two favorite bands as a kid was Stryper and Petra. And my two favorite drummers as a kid,
Petra's amazing,
and Louis Weaver, the drummer for Petra. And funny enough, side story, I'll make it quick. Last year, right before I moved to Phoenix, I was in the Kroger in Nashville, and I was going to get in line, and I got in my line, and two people in front of me, I looked, and I'll be darned if it's not Louis Weaver, the drummer for Petra. And so I'm like,
holy crap.
I've never met him, and I have to meet him right now, and I have to tell him what he meant to me and what that band meant to me. So I literally left my cart sitting there, and he was walking off, and I just go, "Hey, Louis?" And he just turns around, he looks at me like, "Huh?" And I was like, "You're Louis Weaver from Petra, right?" And he was like, "Yeah, man." He was so surprised.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Hey, brother, my name is Yogi Watts. I play in a band called Demon Hunter." He's like, "I've heard of y'all before." And I was like, "Well, I play drums in Demon Hunter, and I just wanted to let you know that you are one of my two biggest influences. You're the reason I bought a DW drum kit, because you and that Mickey Mouse red DW drum kit you used to tour with. And I just wanted to let you know, like, you're one of my heroes, man. Like, I need for you to know that, and I want for you to know that." Dude, he started, oh no.
Oh, I got it.
He started crying. He was going through a rough time, man. Like, he's been, like, driving buses, and, like, that whole music thing's been over for him for a while. And, like, he literally told me, he's like, "Man, I needed to hear that. Like, I needed to hear you say that to me today, because I've been going through a rough time." He gave me his phone number.
Nice.
He told me to call him anytime I wanted.
Yeah,
dude. Yeah. So I know Louis will probably never see this, but Louis, shout out, brother. I love you. I hope you're doing well, man.
Nice. Yeah. It's always comforting when the artists you look up to are, like, so nice to you. Because I've heard of saying, don't meet your heroes or something, because you might not like them and they're one way.
You'll be disappointed.
Right, yeah. So I'm so glad that worked out for you, Here's another question from a fan. Andrew asks, "Is it hard? How do you protect yourself from the evils of fandom? Like have you experienced big time fans?
My mom and dad, the way they raised me.
Okay.
I'm Yogi Watts from Caroline, North Carolina, brother. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I'll ever be.
Right.
I'm going back there, man. I thought I'd never go back, but I'm going back, man, because I want to be home.
No, right.
Like, this whole pandemic has made me look at things a lot different. I think just knowing, like, kind of what we were talking about earlier, and, like, just knowing the person you are, like, ain't nothing special about me, man. Like, I got lucky, dude. Yeah. I got lucky because I'm a funny dude. Like, I didn't do anything special to, like, be in Demon Hunter. Like, I didn't, there's no reason for me to have an ego about it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So I think that's the biggest thing, man, is like, it's just not in my nature. It's not in our nature. Like, that's not, and we're not a full-time touring band. I think that helps a little bit too. You keep a perspective. For most of the time I was in Demon Hunter, dude, I was also delivering pizza. Yeah. If I wasn't playing in another band or touring with another band, or in all the years I toured, I delivered pizza for probably 13 years on and off.
Right.
Even now, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I work at a record store called Zia Records, one of the best record stores in the country, one of the last independently owned record store chains in the entire country. We have 8 stores. We have 6 in the Phoenix metro area and then 2 in Las Vegas, 1 in Tucson, actually 9 stores. And I go to work every day, dude. I make $14 an hour just like everybody else I work with. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, when you got to live that reality every day, brother, you can't get no big head about it. No. I ain't got no big bank account. I ain't got no massive retirement sitting somewhere. Like, I'm lucky enough to own the 2 vehicles we own. I got a roof over my head. I got some nice clothes I bought at Walmart. That's about it, brother. Like, that's me.
So,
you know what I mean? Like,
so technically you're a simple Southern boy, right?
That's all I am.
That's it. That's it, man.
That's it, dude. I am a simple Southern boy. I still like buying my clothes at Walmart. If I don't buy my clothes at Walmart, dude, I'll buy them because they're on sale.
Man, Walmart's fantastic sometimes, man. You find amazing deals there. Like, who cares where you buy your stuff, you know?
My favorite shorts right now. Yeah, dude, my favorite shorts right now from Walmart. I got 6 pairs of them. I got every color they make.
Yeah.
That's what I wear.
That's
what I wear every day. I got them on right now.
That's it. Yeah, cool.
I got this Def Leppard shirt at thrift store for like $6.
Yeah. Yeah. So cool. Yeah. All right. So, if I ask you about who are your 5 main favorite drummers, who would you put in that list?
Dave Grohl.
Right. Yeah.
Vinnie Paul.
Okay.
A guy named Josh Freese, who's played
Guns N' Roses,
right now. Oh, he for a minute, but he plays for Sting right now. He's played in his original band was the Vandals, the punk band the Vandals, but he's played in 9 Inch Nails, A Perfect Circle,
everything,
a bunch of bands.
Yeah.
A guy that is one of my newer favorites that's kind of blows my mind is a guy named Eric Imprada. He plays in that band Fever 333.
Right.
So him, that guy blows me away. God, he blows me away. I said Vinnie Paul. So Vinnie Paul, Josh Freese, Dave Grohl, Eric Imprada, and probably Lance from Living Sacrifice.
Okay. Yeah.
There's nobody as rhythmatically solid as that dude.
Right.
Watching him every night on tour and knowing that I had to go play after him
was
like
no way.
Stressful, dude.
Really?
So stressful. And then I'll give you a 6th one.
Okay.
A very little known guy, but somebody who is probably the hidden gem in all of heavy Christian music. His name is Mark Garza.
Okay.
He played in the band Embodiment. And he is so good, dude.
Yeah.
It is crazy. And those 2 dudes were on he also played in a band called The Famine. I don't know if you remember them. They were on Solid State, but our old guitar player, Chris McAdam, Demon Hunter's very first guitar player, he was also the singer in Embodiment, but after he left Demon Hunter, he started a band called The Famine, where he was a singer again. And Mark played drums in The Famine too. And so on that one tour, dude, let me tell you something. There was one tour where I had to sit and watch Matt Greiner play, Mark Garza play, and Lance play, all before I played.
Oh my God! I bet that was really. I can imagine.
That sucks. So much.
Yeah.
Dude, like, are you kidding me? Like, I gotta watch those. I mean, Matt Greiner, dude. Like, that kid is a machine too, dude. Like, so having to watch all those guys play, knowing I had to get up with the headliner and be the headliner drummer,
right?
Dude, that was humbling to say the least.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
If you could jam with any musician, living or dead, who would be? And it doesn't have to be drums. It can be like guitars, singers. You know.
Dave Grohl.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's a quintessential musician to work with. You know, just to be friends with. He's amazing.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
And outside of him, if I could get up on stage and play one song, if I could get up and play the song "Free" with Stryper,
Oh, right,
at
right.
one of their shows,
Yeah.
that would probably be my number one.
Cool.
Like jamming with Dave Grohl would be awesome, but playing drums for Stryper
Right.
would probably. I have a Stryper tattoo on the back of my neck, dude. Like,
Oh, you got yeah. That's your number one
that's
go-to,
since I was
right?
a kid, man. Yeah, they
Yeah.
were I've been my favorite band since I was 5 years old, man. Can't help it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just got 2 questions for you, and then we can wrap this up. Everybody has a music guilty pleasure. I have in my little playlist. You go from country to metal to pop to rap to whatever. What is your guilty song pleasures? That country. Yeah,
I mean, it's
country.
not even a guilty, I guess.
Well, country's so good, man. It's,
Okay, here you go. You want to know what my absolute guilty pleasure is?
Yes, sir.
Is a band called A Lady. She's a one woman band, but it's a band called Imogen Heap.
Okay.
Her music literally helped me get through a time where I was having severe anxiety for a few months. And the only thing that would calm me down enough to where I could actually fall asleep at night would be her music.
Okay.
And so that's probably my number one guilty pleasure.
I guess her voice was so soothing for you to relax and just take it easy, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was something about it that just there's something about it that
Cool.
would just soothe that, and John Mayer's Heartbreak Warfare.
Right, yeah.
That was the other one during that time that really got me through, like some of those nights where I felt like I couldn't breathe, and
Yeah.
pretty intense. Yeah.
Cool. Well, my last question for you is a question from Blake, the co-host. He says, "Do you use any beard oil?" As like a joke kind of question.
I do.
You do.
I do.
Yeah.
I use a beard oil, and it's called Mister. That's
Mister.
literally what it's called.
Okay.
It's from the company doTERRA, and they make an oil called Mister.
Okay.
And my wife bought it for me because my wife's really, really big into essential oils.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
so
yeah.
she bought it for me, and I love it. It smells great, and it actually kind of calms me down a little bit.
Nice.
And it makes my red beard look beautiful.
Yes, sir. It does. Yeah, I need to try like some major beard oil too, because mine itches, and every time it itches, I'm like, I got to shave. So I just can't.
Dude. No,
yeah.
you got to get some nice beard oil.
Yeah.
Keep it from itching. Keep it nice and soft. Mine's shorter than normal right now, but
Yeah, cool. I have to order me
it's
some.
hot out here in Arizona.
Yeah, right. So, so thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. This is one of
You're
my
welcome, bud.
very favorite podcasts I've done yet. And this has been a bucket list, just to get you on my show and our show.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.